Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 showing the big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, Coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. There's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams.
Can Rayleigh hold him off? He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Antonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway. Ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.
We're finally back out west and turning left and right this evening as NORA takes on Sonoma Raceway. Napa Valley is home to this spectacular racing course. It's been open since the mid-1900s, and it's been NASCAR's only stop anywhere near the Pacific Northwest more often than not. Yet you can see that not far off the pavement through each 1.99 mile lap, a bunch of dirt and dust and dry grass awaits any driver slightly too daring at any corner. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Sonoma Raceway. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Murdoch alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the NORA Sonoma 211. Today's coverage is brought to you by Harpoon Designs, by NORA, and by Whiplash Simcams. I'm excited, Zach. I do love stock cars on road courses. You know that. Hopefully most of the viewers know that. This is a really exciting combo. I got a few laps of testing in myself, just throwing the car around, and whatever iRacing has done on this setup with this car is really enjoyable to me. Now, how is that going to hold up over the course of a run? I don't know, Zach, but just hot lapping the thing is a lot of fun.
I can tell you for certain I ran a couple of hot laps myself, and I think you and I have a very different opinion on how the car itself truly feels. I don't know, to me, it's always been a little tight. The nose doesn't really want to set the way I feel like it could, but this car is also built different than most modern race cars that have been driven around Sonoma Raceway, so it's par for the course, but that extra power you're feeling is going to make the wheels spin as much as possible, regardless of what gear you're in, and it makes this track really, really tough for these guys, especially with the elevation change, with how the run is up into turn 1, I think is going to be one to watch, and then the run down into 4A and 7A. I think those are going to be big corners, big passing zones, but at the same time, big mistake points that drivers are going to be catching themselves out in turn 10, too. I think turn 10 is going to be a bit of a mistake-riddled corner as well.
There's always a lot to talk about in any lap here at Sonoma Raceway. Turn 1, so for a lot of my childhood, by the way, while I let you go make your fantasy picks, Zach, because you still haven't done that, and we're in the pre-race show. Anyways, while I was a kid, for some reason, I always counted the top of the hill, turn 2 as turn 1. So I've had to kind of relearn the numbering with 3, 3A, 4A, 7A. But the corners to watch are going to be some of those that I just mentioned. In fact, every one of those. The first, honestly, I don't think there's a bad corner on this racetrack. I guess turn 2, turn 4A, 7A, kind of the points around the top end of the track, and then certainly down 10, 11, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Those are going to be passing opportunities, not so much turn 10. It's a fast sweeper, but it sets up a big passing opportunity in turn 11. If you do not get turn 10 right, in fact, the whole back end of the course from 7A all the way down through 10, if you mess up the flow at any one of those corners, anybody behind you is going to be a whole lot closer, if not passing you, before you even hit the apex, of the hairpin at turn number 11. So you need to be on it every single lap here at Sonoma Raceway. It is such a flowing course. It is a lot of fun. But it's also very, very punishing. You cannot drop a wheel too far off of the pavement, or as mentioned, there is that dirt just off the course, just outside that white line to catch you out. Now, we are in our very first ever NORA pre-race show. And I do want to mention, before we really even go too far, Zach, if you've watched our BRB coverage in the last couple of seasons, you'll notice that we don't have a pre-race graphic on screen. This pre-race show and this concept of how we're going to do it this evening and from here on out is more or less brought to you by NORA itself. That said, I'm going to do Josh Conover and everybody a bit of a favor. This segment, this whole pre-race show and all of the segments within are up for sponsorship. So if you are looking to help support the broadcast, support the league in any way, let us know, get in contact. We'd love to get your logo on screen. That said, Zach, as cars are on track for practice here this evening, we have got a lot to talk about. Let's start with the points coming into this evening. And of course, the chase is coming up. That's what we're going to be talking about all the way until the fall. And then through, of course, the championship. 10 drivers will make it. We're not really worried about that 400 points within the leader thing because, well, the cutoff line is more than 400 points behind the leader. So we're just taking the top 10 at this point. And that line is starting to get murky. Kyle Tubb entered last week, I believe, 7th going into Michigan, he is now 11th, 12 points out. That shows you just how much these things can swing. And if you compare these numbers to the current NASCAR point system, you might think, oh, well, these guys are pretty far apart, but this is not the current NASCAR point system. These guys are firing off of the older 2005 NASCAR point system. So it's not 1 point per position. A full race is around 200 points, not exactly around, I think it's 195. So that is a very small margin between Kite and Tub, even Norman and Arthur. Things are really, really tight here at the cutoff line, and it's going to do a lot of moving again this week as we get ready for Chicagoland next week.
There's so much to play with, realistically, as we roll into these next few races, and road courses tend to bring out the road course ringers. I think we could see some good point shifts going through Sonoma, but I don't know, Andrew, the closer we get to the chase, the more I feel like we are already taking shape of what this chase grid is supposed to be. You see Brian Jones is the highest above the cut line of drivers that are not necessarily secure, but in a good margin. I feel like he's looking to secure that a little bit better as we roll through Sonoma. I think Vincent Arthur, should he show up, should have a good chance of putting himself above that cut line. I think we're in the midst of where this chase can really start taking shape. I know I already said that, but it makes the most sense to me. I think we won't see too much change, but we'll see enough that it can start affecting these next few races.
I do think Brian Jones is getting close to having himself kind of considered in. And, you know, as we've talked about the last couple of weeks, the green and the red doesn't mean you're locked in or locked out, but it's one race in or out. So Chase Durham could lose an entire race worth of points, and he would still be in right now. Does that make sense? So, and on the flip of the coin, I guess, Kyle Rochelle could earn a full race of points, maximum points, and he would still be out. So that kind of gives you an idea of just how far these guys are in or out of the chase at this point in time. Obviously, still a little while to go. This is race 16 this evening. We have the first 26 to lock these guys into the chase here in this season. Let's see, did you make your fantasy picks yet, Zach?
Working on it. Working on it.
Well, I'll give you a minute to think then, and we can flip over to our next order of business, and it's actually going to be talking to a driver. We have not done this yet pre-race, so bear with us. We've got a lot of channels to go through. Josh Conover definitely likes to be thorough with the amount of channels he has in the NORA Discord. Let's go down and grab somebody we're watching with very keen eyes here this evening at Sonoma. That is Ryan Housden. And Ryan, I see you currently on track dodging somebody off to drivers left in the S's, but this is an exciting opportunity, I think, for you, right? I mean, everybody's kind of looking at the 15 tonight thinking, hey, this might be the guy to beat in the entire garage. Is that a position that you take lightly? I mean, that's got to be a lot of pressure.
Definitely not. It's a ton of pressure. It's an honor for people to be saying that. I've worked really hard trying to get better at this, so yeah, I'm excited, a little nervous. Starting on pole, going into turn one is a little bit of a sketchy spot at a road course, so hopefully everyone takes it a little easy. Lap one so we can get through this thing clean and see where the pace falls when we get settled down.
Zach, I'll let you keep working on your fantasy picks. I picked you, Ryan. A lot of people are picking you here tonight. Is that any added pressure? No, not only are the drivers that you're sharing the track with, you know, kind of looking at you like maybe this is the guy to beat tonight, but also everybody picking the fantasy game tonight, kind of thinking the 15 car might be the way to go. And if it is any pressure, how do you work on blocking that out once you get onto the grid, once you get around for that formation lap before we go racing tonight?
Sure. Yeah, I guess now that I know that, it's a little extra pressure. I think once the green flag drops, you know, there's so much you got to focus on. It's like nothing else really comes into your head except trying to execute each corner, I think. I'm not very good at multitasking, so I'm very certain I won't be thinking on much else other than how not to crash every lap.
Well, as you bring it into the pit lane here this evening, how important do you think that element of this race is going to be? Of course, even go back 20 years ago and more, you know, you had Larry Mackin pre-race talking about running this race backwards, in reverse, trying to make sure you're good to the end on that last stop. We've been talking about that a lot lately with Michigan and Pocono, those fuel mileage races. So How big of an element do you think fuel mileage and just pit strategy in general will be here tonight?
I think, I mean, if we go green the whole way, I actually don't think there's a whole lot of alternating strategy, just because I think no matter what, you got to stop it. And tires fall off, you know, enough that you're going to be taking 4 tires, I think, every time you come in. So that's my game plan. If we don't get a caution, I think it's pretty simple. Now, if a caution comes at a weird spot, it could really throw a wrench in things. Fuel mileage could really become a factor. You can see guys that shift a little less are going to get a better fuel mileage. I kind of like shifting more, so we'll see. I hope it doesn't go fuel mileage, but who knows, right?
Well, I guess a small note then on that question, right? Talking about shifting, maybe trying to minimize shifts throughout the lap. Is that something that's easy to you to change if you need to save a lap or two?
Yeah, I know where I would do it if I wanted to. I don't know how my pace would feel if I did, but thankfully they added that new fuel calculator, so I'll be able to tell pretty quick whether I need to start changing the way I'm driving a little bit or not. So, yeah, I know what I would do. It's not easy to keep the same pace for me and reduce some shifting. That's why I shift so much, but we'll see. It's all going to be playing it by ear.
Well, hey, not only are you the first to the green flag tonight, you're also the first driver on this new NORA pre-race show. Good talking to you, Ryan. Hopefully we'll talk to you later on as well.
Yeah, I'm going to do what I can. Thanks, guys.
And Ryan Housden, of course, racing in that DEI banner alongside guys like Brady Moats and whatnot. I mean, he's hopefully not putting too much pressure on himself this evening. He's also got those 5 wins from Dalton Tucker to match up to at some point this season, Zach. And that, I think, is the big, tall order that everybody in that group is having to match up to. 5 wins for Dalton is a big, big number. But let's get back to kind of talking about the season as a whole and look at the schedule and where Sonoma fits in. As mentioned, this is race 16. Chicagoland next week, back to a an intermediate oval, much like we had at Michigan and even at Charlotte, Darlington, Texas, those kinds of races. Chicagoland, I think, is going to be a welcome stop by a lot of drivers. Some classic NASCAR intermediate style racing, speedway racing, before we do this road thing all over again for 81 long laps at Montreal.
Yeah, and I mean, looking outside Montreal, you are just jumping around the... what's the word I'm looking for here? The track balancing, I guess we can call it, because you're jumping from a road course to an intermediate, back to a road course, to a super speedway, to a... I don't even know what to call Pocono. You want to say it's got 5 or 6 turns, but
5.
like... I don't know what to call Pocono half the time, but...
An enigma.
Sure, we'll call it that. Indianapolis right after, then back to another road course. You are really sending these guys to a lot of high-speed tracks over the course of the next 6 races, realistically. It's not until you get to Bristol that things start slowing down, and even then, they don't even really slow that much down. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 races of high-speed mayhem. Then you go to California, which I guess you can call 10. Like, the next 10 races are all just high-speed mayhem-type tracks, with a little bit of road racing dazzle sprinkled in between. I think the guys that are really technical are going to shine in a few of these 10 races, mainly the road courses in Indianapolis and Pocono. Other than that, I really don't know what else to say when it comes to the rest of the schedule going into the chase, because there's not going to be a lot of tracks for technical drivers to continue to shine once we pass these big stretch of high speed and road course tracks.
A lot to look forward to the rest of the summer here in 2026 or 2005, however you want to look at it. We'll get on down to our next driver to talk to this evening, and that's going to be somebody who I mentioned in the points. Somebody who was looking pretty good going into last week at Michigan. Let me double check the team channel I got to move him back into. That's going to be the McClure chat, actually, with Hunter Sr. and such. But we're actually going to be grabbing Kyle Tubb here for our second pre-race interview ever in NORA, but also of the evening. And Kyle, going into last week's race at Michigan, as I mentioned in the points graphic, you were looking good, right? About 7th, I think it was. Good bit of points to the gap, or to the cut line, rather. Michigan did not go well. Now you're 12 out. How do you remedy that situation? How do you get back on the in going, well, out of Sonoma here this evening?
Well, going back a few weeks back to Pocono, felt like I was starting to build some momentum in the right direction, starting to get some better finishes and finding a little more speed. And unfortunately, my internet decided to go kaput last week at Michigan. But I think going forward, the next few races, it's just rebuilding the consistency, trying to get the good finishes back going, staying out of trouble, and what better place to start than Sonoma?
And you talk about consistency and building on that, and better place to do it than Sonoma. Why is this no better place to do it? Because this track can chew you up and spit you out realistically. How do you feel like this is going to be the spot that you build that consistency moving forward?
I've always been a fan of the road courses, and a car like this Gen 4, where you can really throw it around and throw its weight through the corners, it's something I like. Yeah, there's definitely quite a few spots at this track that will catch you if you're not on top of it. But I'm thinking there's going to be quite a few off-track incidents and some things that happen tonight. And as long as I can keep all 4 tires on the pavement, I should come away with a finish.
And I noticed you were down in the Morgan McClure chat, of course, being with the Juicy Spider Bunch. That means you're kind of in there with Donald Kite, Hunter Sr., and some of those guys. How important is it, even across kind of technical team lines, how important is it to kind of cross-reference information, see what they're thinking, what they're doing, maybe with strategy, and still have some, I guess, team lines, if you will?
I'd say it's pretty important. If I was just going at this solo from the beginning of the season, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now in terms of overall pace. It's like being able to just having other people to bounce things off of, and try things with. It keeps improving.
8th place so far in practice. Not sure if you're turning any more laps, but hey, I don't know where you're starting exactly. That's a decent start already. Hopefully you're adding some laps led, or at least maybe a top 5. First one of the season could be tonight. Hopefully we're talking to you later.
Thank you.
That's Kyle Tubb in the number 32. We'll get him back down to the drivers that he's working with this evening. Those guys out of the Morgan McClure camp, Hunter Sr., one of them, but also they're kind of working with Donald Kite, Noah Blackwell. That's a very diverse bunch, Zach. So a lot of, I think, good feedback in that group from different backgrounds that should help those guys all succeed here this evening. Now we want to go into a new segment we've never done here at Pit Stop TV. In fact, we're going to go to some of these cameras that are a little bit quieter, turn the music down a little bit, Zach, and this is something we're trying for the very first time. I'm excited for this. This was easily my favorite segment of the NASCAR pre-race shows of old, about 20 years ago, in fact. We're going to do Pit Stop TV Gas and Go. Let's give this a shot. Our first topic of the evening, Zach, it's rapid-fire thoughts here. Ryan Housen on pole. Can he win tonight? Go.
Well, he just set a new fastest lap in the practice session, so I feel like that might be a moot point. But he has shown up and shown out right now. I mean, he is the all-around favorite at the moment. I don't see why you can bet against him. I feel like he's going to be a shoo-in. Try and go for the win tonight.
Yeah, I think Housen is an easy lock, at least for a top 5. Is he going to win? I don't know. Topic number 2, let's see what we've got here. How about Chase Durheim? Will he ever get a win this season?
Durheim has shown that he has the ability to win the races. He just hasn't been able to put it together at the end. I don't know. Maybe once we go back to California, I think maybe he's going to have a good shot, but I think these high-speed tracks will play into his favor.
At this point in time in 2005, Greg Biffle had led the most laps in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series at the time. He also had a couple of wins. Chase Durheim looking to maybe get some of that magic going in the number 16. So far, it hasn't happened. Next up, Zach, final topic on the board this evening. Vincent Arthur. We were talking about whether or not he would make it into the show tonight. He's here. Will Vincent Arthur still make the chase? He's missed one race, but he has that one win, Zach. Go.
If he can't show up to the races at this point, he's going to be looking at like the odd man out. I think he needs to be a little bit more consistent with showing up. Obviously, there are things that take pertinent matters But I think if he can show up a few more times, I think he's going to be a shoe-in for the chase.
I very much agree. If he is in every race from here to the end of the season, I think he makes it. If he misses one or two, I don't know. And actually, on this kind of stat graphic here, you see the one win, 5 top 5s, 5 top 10s. That tells me he either is in the top 5 or he's in the back, right? If he's in the top 10, he's in the top 5 at the end of the race, period. He's got some good laps led, sure. But it's feast or famine so far this season for the 24 car. And, you know, I shared a little tidbit with you before we got going this evening, as he will pull off the pit lane for the first time in this practice session. He has made it. Talking about, you know, this is the same spot Jeff Gordon was in going into Sonoma, the same point in the season in 2005. He was 12th in the standings, 2 spots out of the chase. I'd like to think Jeff still finished the 2005 season out decently. Honestly, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm kind of falling back on you here. How was the rest of 2005 for Jeff Gordon?
2005 was relatively okay for the 24 camp with Hendrick Motorsports. If I remember correctly, if I do remember correctly, Loomis was still on the pit box. Letarte had not stepped in just yet. But, I mean, 2005 started off great. They won the Daytona 500. They won at Martinsville. He had a couple of wins rolling into the chase. However, we have to remember the consistency that we saw out of Jeff Gordon. The 24 car struggled postseason when the new chase format started coming out. They had the runs, they had the consistency, but the win totals went to Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Kurt Busch. It made more sense for them when it came down to the end of the season, and the 24 car just wasn't there to close it out. However, to reel himself in and keep himself in contention, that's where Gordon shined. On a bad day, he was better than most. On a good day, he was phenomenal. A quote, Mike Joy, 2011 Subway Fresh Fit 500. But if Vincent can keep everything together and point himself in a solid direction, I don't see why he can't outshine what Jeff Gordon did in 2005.
And he certainly would like to, because going back on Racing Reference, driver averages, and all of that, Jeff Gordon did miss the chase that year. That was the big point I was looking to check back on. He also had the most wins for any driver that did not make the chase. He had 4. That was more than Mark Martin, who made the chase, more than Ryan Newman, more than Matt Kenseth, more than Rusty Wallace, who went winless in 05, and also more than Jeremy Mayfield or Kurt Busch. So certainly the wins were there for Jeff, and the win has been there once so far for Vincent. That one win back at Martinsville. He's got to get, I think, 1 or 2 more in this summer if he really wants to be taken as a serious championship threat. Otherwise, I just don't know that anybody has anything for the number 3. That said, though, Zach, that's been a nice little trip back in history. As far as what's going on here in NORA now, how about a big thank you to these partners on the left side of your screen, Harpoon Design, Sparks Builders, and Dark Star Garage, which brings me to the Dark Star Garage Power Rankings. There they are. Dalton Tucker on top. That's no surprise. Hunter Sr., Josh Conover, they have stayed 2nd and 3rd. But Jones is up a spot, Durheim's up 2, Arthur still in the top 10. Kleba, of course, missing Michigan last week, dropped a good bit. He's slated to drop some more this evening. I'm watching that guy in 8th, though, Ryan Housden. Could this be the beginning of a big summer swing for him? I don't know. We'll find out. So with power rankings in mind, we can also take a look at our fantasy standings coming into the evening. Zach, why do we not see you here?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because you haven't been picking.
Don't ask me. I
can assure you he did make picks tonight. Zach Murtis did play the fantasy game. Everybody, round of applause. Zach, take your bow. No, it's good to have as many playing as possible. And you see, hey, guess who finally got a win in this, Zach?
You?
Yeah, I finally got a win. I can congratulate myself, pat myself on the back. I finally got myself an overall win with my picks last week at Michigan International Speedway. My picks tonight, by the way, and we'll go over yours real quick. Mine, let me see, where were they? Let's see, Housden, Arthur, and Caden Henry Oaks. We'll see how that goes. Caden, I know, is not too happy about this racetrack in general. Yours, and by the way, almost everybody is taking Housden and Arthur. Yours, Housden, Moats, and Malone. I like that Jacob Malone guy. Unfortunately, I might have picked him 1 week too early because he looks really, really good tonight. He is starting second this evening alongside that oh-so-fast number 15 of Ryan Housden. And that takes us through the balance of tonight's pre-race show for the NORA Retro Cup Series. We've got a little more to talk about, including some win picks that we're going to sweeten up as the weeks go on. But, Zach, let's first get to our grid this evening on pole here tonight at Sonoma Raceway. Well, we already talked about it quite a bit. It is that number 15, Ryan Housden, leading us to the green flag alongside Jacob Malone. Back in row number 2, Vincent Arthur and Dalton Tucker, maybe the two favorites for the championship. They're starting side by side, just ahead of Josh Conover and Noah Blackwell. Good to see him back in the field this evening. Nick Hom will start from 7th, Kyle Tubb from 8th. Good starting spots for each of those drivers. And to complete your top 10, how about Chase Durheim and Cody Anderson?
Rolling outside the top 10, you'll find John Skavnicki and Brian Jones in row number 6, with 13th and 14th, row number 7 right behind them. You'll find Nick Glacius and Kevin Baumler, 14th to his outside. 15th and 16th on the grid, you'll find Cody Smith and Jacob Gladulich. With 17th and 18th on the grid, you will find in that row number 9, Caden Henry Oaks and Hunter Sr. Row number 10 on the starting grid, 19th and 20th, you'll find Matthew George and Ronnie Norman, with only, I believe 5 other cars behind them. Jake Christenberry, Donald Kite, 21st and 22nd. 23rd, you'll find Brady Motes. 24th, you'll find Brad Fulham. And last on the grid, you'll find Jourdain White in the 25th position.
The Jamaican sensation will be starting this race from dead last this evening. 25 cars here tonight. But I want to draw everybody's attention to the number 5 car this evening. He's actually being scored as the number 84, but there he is. Caden Henry Oaks has made the switch into the number 5. We don't have many details on the situation, Zach, other than rides have changed hands over in the Hendrick camp. Caden Henry Oaks, at least as far as we know, is taking over the 5 for the remainder of this season. Caden Perkins, while he's not here this evening, he's on vacation up in Canada. Caden Perkins will take over the reins of the number 84 through the remainder of this season. So that car is getting its 3rd driver here in 2026. But Caden Henry Oaks jumping into the number 5. And of course, this is, I think, a very sentimental opportunity for him. He was one of the few in this league. I believe only he and Vincent Arthur are the only 2 that did in this series, but he got to work at Kyle Busch Motorsports for a short period of time. I recall when he was so happy, so ecstatic that he came back home, talking about how he got to have dinner with Kyle Busch and talk about an opportunity he had coming up in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. So very cool for Caden to drive this number 5. I know that's going to mean a lot to him through the remainder of this year. I do want to, of course, get to some other bits of information this evening. Of course, weather conditions here at Sonoma. Let's take a look at it. 75.4 degrees in the air. The track temp pretty high, 113. We're expecting these guys to go about 24 to 27 laps on a tank, which brings us to our next point. Zach, the Whiplash SimCam's race details, 66 laps. That's 131 miles, 211 kilometers. Those 66 laps, you can split them up in a couple of different ways, but I don't think you're getting to 33 this evening. So it's 22 lap runs. If you want to split it down evenly, you are not getting to 33 laps on one tank of gas with this 77% fuel load. So really, I think it's a pretty cut and dry 22, 22, 22. We might see some guys try something a little bit different. Maybe a shorter run with only taking 2 tires or none. I don't know. Pandora's box has been opened before. We'll see if it gets opened here this evening at Sonoma. That said, the iRacing.com safety car will peel off to the relative safety of pit lane here into the famed hairpin at this amazing racing facility. Sonoma Raceway, always good to be here. It's always even better when it's in NASCAR stock cars. Here we go, out of turn 11, passing the John Cardinale Media Center and into the front straightaway. Ryan Housden gonna lead us to the green. 66 laps at Sonoma begins now. Not sure if you saw it, Zach, but maybe a lane change, a spin in the back, turn 2. Problems for the 4 car. Hunter Sr. does a spin cycle. Kite goes around with him, and caution is out on lap 1. We are going to see a couple of these, I think, tonight, Zach. We're not used to oval leagues doing this when they hit a road course, but we're going to have a few tonight. That was 2 cars in 1 incident. That constitutes by league rules as a caution. My point, though, going back to Ryan Housden at the start, it looked like he might have changed lanes a little too soon. I'm curious if there will be any chatter about that between these drivers here this evening, but we saw the spin in the background for the 4 and 21. There is the Juicy Spider number 4 of Hunter Sr. Car looks okay. Same for Kite. I feel like that's one they could have let run, but these guys will appreciate it. We'll go back and get a look at what happened for our opening caution flag of the evening here at Sonoma. I wasn't expecting to have a caution, but that's okay. The 21 was towards the back of the field. That's Kite. Looks like he might have been in the chain reaction here, but watch the number 4 up the hill. That is Hunter Sr. He's got Matthew George behind him, Ronnie Norman as well. A bit of a stack up there with Baumler, Gladgelich, and then Norman just taps the 4, and the chain reaction catches the 21. And again, Zach, I mean, it's relatively inconsequential, but by league rules, and this is the same for everybody, by league rules, that's a caution. It's funny, right at 8:30, as these guys hit the grid, Josh Conover sent in our production chat the exact, I guess, details required for a caution here at Sonoma this evening. Said should be good. We shouldn't see any, but here we are. Turn 2, 2 cars go around, and caution flag is out.
First full course yellow on lap 1.
Hey, it gives these guys a chance to save fuel, and now that fuel math kind of goes out the window, Zach, but let's think about it this way. These guys, sure, they can save some gas here under this caution, and maybe they can stretch this tank out to 33 laps, but that would require them to go another 33 at the end, and that's still not going to happen. They would need another caution in that back half of the race. So now these guys are trying to think, you know, do we maybe short fill here, get some fuel, try to go a bit longer? Nobody's hitting the pit lane. I am shocked by that. This pit stop, if you were to take one, could make the difference, but nobody really hitting the pit lane. Senior and Kite, the only ones to do so. Norman's got a chance at maybe, along with it looks like Fulham and Moats.
I would expect Brady.
If you're at the back, absolutely get some fuel. Fulham has stopped, I don't know why. I think to get the 31 by him.
That was close right there for a second. But I mean, if you're in the back, it just makes the most sense. Top the fuel off a little bit, see what you can get out of it. If you can run it longer, run it longer. Maybe even cut some time out of your race. I think these guys have the strategy call here to take it to the pit lane, top off on gas, and find a way to make it work.
Yeah, I'm shocked we didn't see more takers either one of those laps of caution there. Problems maybe for the 15 of Housden. I think, Zach, he is being sent to the rear for a lane change violation on the start. So there goes that pole position.
Housden's getting an EOL, and Norman are getting an EOL. So Norman's getting the EOL for the incident. He's taking caution claim.
Yep.
And then Housden obviously going to the back as well.
That is big for the 15. And, you know, that might have been his first pole, at least on a road course. Maybe that's just a procedure thing he wasn't quite thinking about there. I noted it, though, on the start. It looked like he just blended over a little bit too much in front of the 18.
Talk about a fantasy shakeup. I mean,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, I think everybody had the 15. Or at least most everybody. Yeah, Housden. Oh, Chris Winstone didn't.
I was so very, very tempted to pick Hunter Sr. to start with, or Josh Conover, but oh man, I was like, everybody's picking Housden, and I tend to never get my picks right in the way that someone always has some way to have a leg up on me. So I'm like, you know what? To heck with it. I'm gonna go with the flow of everybody else. I'm gonna pick Housden. Now this is what happened. So it's the Zach effect. Let's just call it that.
Hey, last week, right, we had 3 straight wins for Tucker going into Michigan last week. I picked Tucker to win because I hadn't gotten a single winner pick right all season, and sure enough, he didn't win the race. So I still don't have a single win pick right, as Jacob Malone is going to lead us to the green flag here. Let's see how this attempt at a start goes. Single file. Mind your P's and Q's, guys. Wait for that start zone out of turn 12. Jacob Malone in the number 18 leads us to it. You hear Ronnie Norman behind us, actually, as we are going to go back green. 3 laps complete of 66, 63 to go at Sonoma. Already off the start, that 3 car getting aggressive. Tucker side by side with Blackwell over the hill at turn 2, now 3 and 3A. A bit of a checkup there back there with Christenberry and George, but clean over the hill.
Yeah, I thought Conover was going to go around off the nose of the 3, but everyone keeps it straight. You see just how much they swing wide.
Skavnicki. Love that shot.
They might be 3 wide going into the hairpin. Skavnicki on the outside. They get doubled up. Oh, man, I thought they were going to go 3 wide there for a moment. You see the spread now amongst these guys. The leaders spread out, and then the top 6 driving away from the rest of the field. There you see Tubb, and there's the gap. Everyone just getting way, way spread out. Malone is just showing up and showing out now that he's got clean racetrack in front of him. Couple of moves a little bit further back, side by side into the hairpin.
And here we come past the flag stand. First time under green that we'll be doing that this evening. Malone leads. And there you see the gap from Malone back to Vincent Arthur at second place. And Malone, a 1:17.9 all ready to get this race started. And now these guys are very unlikely to have any cautions for a while, I would say. It can certainly still happen as we've got this gaggle over the hill back here. This is about 8th, 9th, 10th and so. Durheim is in this. Anderson, Jones, Geilis, and Skavnicki. And look at this. Speaking of Skavnicki, he is under pressure from Cody Smith currently. This is at a turn number 7A. Cody Smith on his back bumper.
Look at that. Take a little look at how that exit really benefited the driver in front. So Skavnicki took a wider arc, whereas Smith pinched his corner just a little bit more. And you could see from the camera, Andrew, that Skavnicki was able to really drive off a lot better in that 38 car and build that gap. But throughout the S's, they tend to close up a little bit more as those braking points mesh together.
As we wrap up lap 5, we're starting to look at a battle now for third again. Malone going even faster, a 1:16 on the board. As Dalton Tucker has started to put some pressure here on the number 48. Once again, this will be for third. Problems in the back. Hunter Sr. Oh boy, that's a lot of damage. This is our points leader. He has led the points every single race this season. He's starting to get closer and closer, though, to losing that lead to Dalton Tucker. Could this be another hit that drops him potentially out of this points lead? He only has 130. The gap back to Tucker coming into tonight. That's a lot of damage on the 4 car.
Well, now the question is, do we see that 4 car stay out with the damage that he has, or do we see him pit now and take the damage repair? There's a lot of open real estate at Sonoma that you can prevent yourself from going a lap down, but at the same time, do you want to give up that time? Maybe wait for a caution. This is taking a look back at it. Oh, Housden's going deep into the corner. Senior gives him the space and loops it on his own, but Housden has nowhere to go. And the
Wow.
15 has damage as well. Throw your fantasy picks out the window, ladies and gentlemen. It's done. It's a done deal.
And if it wasn't Housden on people's teams, it was usually Senior. Looking through the picks a little bit ago, Senior loose off the corner, and right on Housden's nose, he zigged. Maybe he should have zagged. A bunch of damage for Ryan Housden's Napa Chevrolet. Let's go back and get a look at it from Ryan Housden's point of view. Here we go, Zach.
I think Housden fully expected that 4 car to spin to the right, which is why you saw him move left. Yeah, I think he fully expected it.
Wow. That's a bunch of damage for his car. There goes the bumper, the hood. He's driving a modified now. The favorite coming into tonight, started on pole position. I think he's done.
I think we jinxed him.
Yeah. He will not
Oh,
want
the
to be...
hood's up!
It's still up, actually, as we get back to... it might not be impacting his vision. We know how the sim can be a little weird sometimes, but that is certainly not a great visual to be looking at from our point of view. He might put a pass. He does pass Fulham with the hood up. He might try to keep going. If it's not impacting him, may as well.
I mean, black flag. Oh my goodness. On a normal circumstance, that would be a black flag for the 15. And he's staying on the racetrack. He must know something that we don't. But that hood is certainly stuck up in the air, and he is making it work as much as he possibly can. Maybe the damage isn't as bad as we see it. You said it yourself, Andrew. The iRacing.com sim can be a little wonky when it comes to how the damage model works, and that 15 is still ripping around the racetrack. Last time by the flag stand compared to the leader, let's just think about this for a minute. A 116.81 for Malone, whereas Housden ran a 118.5. So he's about 2 seconds off the pace in a way with the damage that he's got, but he is making it work. He is closing on the guys in front of him. He was faster than Kristen Berry, he was faster than Matthew George, and he was much faster than Gladulich. He still has a top 15 car.
I can't get over this visual. You know what? Maybe it's extra downforce. Who needs a splitter when you can just put a wing on the windshield? I don't know. That might be... He's trusting the force. I like it. Oh, boy. Well,
How about...
already a wild start here this evening to Sonoma. There's your race leader, Jacob Malone, in the number 18, over the hill, ahead of Vincent Arthur. I think it's now these two for the win, potentially, Zach, unless we have something really big happen with strategy or cautions.
It's full well possible. I think the only cautions that you could have are with the guys running super close to each other, which is kind of what I want to put a focus on for a moment, is the guys running 7th on back. You've got Nick Hom leading them over Durheim, Anderson, and Brian Jones, and even a move back there from Cody Smith to try and put himself back up inside the top 10. These guys are all running super close to each other, and they've been getting very argy-bargy, I want to say. Durheim has definitely got some speed to go down there and chase that 88 car, but Anderson seeing some good consistency out of that 33 car. He's hanging tough, not really losing ground. He's hanging tough in front of Brian Jones, which is now creating a bit of a gap between these guys. Cody Smith, once again, taking another look on that 28 car a little bit further behind him, but they've all been racing really well around each other. They've been giving and taking. They've been showing some good speed, and honestly, it's been pretty enjoyable to watch when we haven't had the TV cameras focused on him as Brady Motes is off track.
Yeah, a bit of an issue there for Modes out of turn 11. He's racing heads up with Jourdain White. Jourdain gives him the spot there in turn 1. So Motes goes back on through. This is 14th, 15th, and 16th. Motes, White, and Scavnicki. And I see Chris Winstone out in the chat this evening. So Chris, what do you think? You want to run with these guys for Montreal in a couple of weeks?
Oh, baby.
We can make it happen.
Oh, baby.
A really fun race to watch though already. I mean, a lot happened there from the jump, and it's still just kind of permeating through the minds as this race goes on.
And Matthew George is in the pit lane, looking at our new iRacing track map.
Senior as well.
Or no,
Actually, it is
not Matthew
senior.
George. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to understand the track map. The
Yes.
numbers are based off position, not the car numbers.
That's correct. It sounds like it might have been too much for Senior to continue on with. He completed a couple of laps and is back in. He has just gone 1 lap down in the number 4 car. And he's been there for about 40 seconds. Up to Dalton Tucker, still putting pressure on the 48 car. This is not at all how I pictured things to look, Zach. I mean, I think everybody was expecting Housden would be the guy to beat here this evening. Big move, here we go. That's the look from the 3 car. He gets to the inside of the 48, no dice.
He got up on the curb right there.
Yeah, Tucker's definitely giving him some pressure. Blackwell 5th, Tubb in 6th, Hom 7th. That is good to see all those guys. And, you know, go back to these races of old, and it was certainly always an opportunity for some of those other cars, those other rides to have a good day at the office. You wouldn't so much expect it from the 99 car at the time. I'm sorry, Carl Edwards. He got better at road racing later on, but you wouldn't so much expect it out of the 99 at the time. Really, the one I want to focus on here is the 32. That car had a handful of different drivers. I think Pruitt drove it at one point in time. Ron Fellows did a few races in that car. The 32 definitely saw a handful of road ringers, or road runners as they called them, in 06. Just kind of jumping in the car. I think it was Quapple in 05 that was supposed to run the car all season. Maybe it was 06, and then he turned it over for one race to Ron Fellows, trying to get the car above the 35th position in points. We don't have that concern here, so we're not switching drivers around in, as far as owners' points too much. Tubb, in this case, wants to try and get into chase contention. He is doing a great job of it. So it's still a points conversation for the 32 at Sonoma. No change there. Just a different kind of points picture, one that is much prettier in Tubbs' mind as he runs 6th, kind of in that first group, as you mentioned earlier on, once we got the restart going. And then farther back, even Durheim's having a decent night, and yeah, there we go. Anderson around at turn 7A. And there's the 81 of Baumler going on by. There goes Houston. And now problems for Guylis. Oh boy, this is big. Well, it might not be as big as I thought. He might have got it woed down just enough. This is in the S's, kind of at the top of the S's. And he will get back going. A little bit of damage to the nose. Let's see what happened to Anderson first. Here's Anderson, just ahead of Guylis, interestingly. This is turn 4A. Guylis right behind, then Smith. And Guylis just gets the 33.
Yeah, a little too hot right there into the corner.
And then is it Cody Smith getting the 28, maybe? How about that, ladies and gentlemen? One car gets one guy, another car gets that guy, and they both go for spins.
A little crossed up right there for Smith and Guylis. I mean, I feel like Smith was just trying to cross him over, and it was a bad spot to do it right there in the S's.
Yeah, it seemed like as soon as Guylis got Anderson turned around, he lost all flow. And Smith was much better through the top of the S's there, caught right up to him, and they just made contact. I mean, it definitely would have been on Smith still to avoid that contact, but there you see Guylis gets the 33, and then right in here, Guylis, I don't know if he just lost where he was on the track, right there especially, he lost his rhythm, and Smith just rolls up on him, taps him, and around he goes.
And Smith jumped out of it ever so slightly to not roll into the back of the 28, and I mean, that was really set up by Anderson, missing his apex just a tad. You saw that Guylis was able to just get in there a little bit better. Anderson had to whoa up a lot more, and that's what allowed the 28 to get into him. But, you know, all of this has realistically benefited quite a few drivers. Moats is up into the top 10. Durheim and Hom are fighting it out with Brian Jones right behind them, so they've got some separation to really put a little bit more pressure on each other while not giving up as much track position as they would have lost with 4 or 5 cars behind them.
I have been told, Zach, by our resident iRacing expert, we'll call him, Matt Rolfe, a few minutes ago, how you called out that George in the 25 was in the pit lane, but it was actually the 4 car of Senior who was in 25th. Apparently, if you hit Alt-K and go into your UI settings, you can change that to show car numbers versus position, or even names if you'd like. So, there you go. Hopefully more than just you learned something out of that. I know I learned something out of that. So a little bit of a tidbit for anybody that is still coming to grips with the new track map.
Where did it go? I pressed the wrong button and now it's gone. I hit the little I guess that hides visibility, and now it's gone and I don't know how to bring it back.
Yes, there is a drop down you can hit to show all widgets, but I'll let you tinker with that as we watch this battle between Durheim and Hom. And if you remember back in Gas and Go from a little bit ago, we talked about, will Durheim get a race win at any point in time this season? Still looking for that first one here in 2026. He has the win from last year at New Hampshire, but in his official rookie campaign, still winless. I don't know. Go back to the first 4 or 5 races this season, I had really high hopes for him. I really thought we were going to see this guy blossom into a weekly, championship favorite. I just don't know that anybody has anything for Tucker, A, and B, he just hasn't been able to string the finishes together that he needs. Consistently, it's like we're talking about disappointment for the 16, whether it's at his hands or not. And, Hom in front of him, watch out, Durheim! That'll allow Jones to go through, and Moats. Hom, the one that spins, he gets it back righted. Narrow miss there for the 31, maybe a Murtis mega miss for several drivers there at turn 11.
Just about.
Let's see what happened here. I don't think there was any contact. I believe Hom just wheel hopped off in there, and yeah, just got a little too fully loaded, I suppose. Bonus points if you get that one. I'm gonna take it. That fell flat for you, Zach.
A bit.
You see the paint scheme he's running?
Is it a Herbie paint scheme?
Herbie fully loaded. A little bit too fully loaded.
No, you lost me.
The car got a little too fully loaded into the corner. The movie name was Herbie Fully Loaded. I think
get it now.
We've finally had the Eureka moment. This track, interestingly, not too far from Eureka, California. But this is the site still for Ryan Housden. He is now 15th, though. Don't count him out entirely. Everybody's fantasy score is riding on the 15 tonight. So he's at least doing his best to get back through the field. But it's we'll see. We'll just have to see. He's looking for 14th on Skavnicki. This is still just the most bizarre sight I think we've ever seen in this series. Chase Durheim working on Brian Jones. This is now the battle for 8th. Brady Moats has gone by the way, Zach. And, I recall in the BRB road races at Mexico and Daytona, Moats was absolutely a shoo-in at the front of the field. He was one to watch. Very different to the driver of the number 8 in 2005. Dale Earnhardt Jr., unfortunately, some bad memories at this racetrack, and for a long time in his career, never had a top 10 here. This was not one of his good racetracks at all, but Brady Moats trucking through the top 10. If only we had stage points to give out, he would be in that top 10 for some. But he has got a little ways up to Kyle Tubb, about 11 seconds to get up to that 32 car. And, we haven't really looked at the deltas at the front of the field, Zach, but look at this. Jacob Malone in lap traffic working on Fulham there in turn 7. He will get that. He'll get ahead of the 91, and I think we may have found our provisional race winner, because that red and blue flash in the background was the 24 car in second.
He is just lights out gone. I mean, Malone is just taking the field by storm right now. There's Hunter Sr. right in front of him. Lets him on go, and you can't bet against this guy right now. I mean, this is just insane.
Everybody that waited till tonight to pick this guy, well, they're going to win the fantasy game tonight, that's for sure.
I picked him. I didn't pick him to win, but I picked him.
I'm regretting my choices, I think, unfortunately. I was full in on Housden. I really was. I had Housden for Group 1, Arthur for Group 2, Henry Oaks for Group 3. I mean, at least I have Arthur in second, I guess. And let's see, where's Caden? He is 11th currently. But then Housden down in 14th. Well, he's bringing it back a little bit. But then I had Housden for the fastest lap and the win. And neither one of those is looking great. You see now, in the last lap, Zach, Jacob has put another second on Vincent Arthur.
Oh, baby.
By the way, Tucker is through to third. He is actually approaching the 24 car. Here is your battle on the racetrack for second spot. Is this a bit of nostalgia maybe gone wrong for you, Zach? The 3 running down the 24?
No. No. Look, man, I have a lot of PTSD. Let's just call it that.
20 laps complete here shortly for these drivers at the Sonoma Raceway. We're actually beginning lap 20 here for these guys now, so a little farther to go to complete it, but a great run already for your top 3, Malone, Arthur, and Tucker. And, I mean, those are 3 of NASCAR's most, I think, iconic numbers across the series. The 18, the 24, the 3. Good to see them all up front. Josh Conover not far behind in 4th. He's put together a nice run. I know he was kind of talking very poorly of himself getting ready for this race. Didn't have much confidence coming into tonight, but 4th place so far. You know, started 5th. He's up 1 spot. I'll give him that. And a solid run so far for the 48 car. We'll see how it goes over the next 46 laps. Still a long ways left, but a good start at the very least. Cody Smith losing a spot. Caden Henry Oaks gets it for now. This is back at turn 7A. Look at Jordan White flying through here. He's trying to put the spot here on Cody Smith. These two weren't exactly fans of one another over in BRB on Tuesday nights. And White has to check up there. Housen now takes a look. So this battle evolving as White falls back to 12th with Housen in 13th right behind. And it looks as though the number 42 is safe for the time being there as he tries to run the 5 car down of Caden Henry Oaks. Hey, you know what? My fantasy picks might still make all the top 10, and I will take that. It's all riding on Housen at this point.
Well, I'm not solely riding on Housen. I still have Moats and Malone. If Housen gets a little bit further up there, then honestly, that's just icing on the cake.
What do you think Jourdain's thinking as this car with the hood up approaches him, possibly to pass him?
Why am I so slow?
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love Jourdain. He's a good kid. No. Probably what the heck is going on? Or, honestly, can we even think about what he's thinking? Because Lord only knows if that is what he's thinking, because we could be the only ones that really see that hood up on that 15 car. Everybody else probably just sees it as normal. I couldn't be the one to tell you on that one, Andrew.
I do wonder what Ryan specifically is seeing, as well as the cars around him here. This is going to be a lively group, though, here shortly, and we are hitting that third mark soon. We just hit lap 22, so I'd say the pit window is pretty well opened up. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they go a couple more laps just to save tires later, if that makes sense. I really don't think we're going to be seeing a caution at this point in time. If we've gone this far without one, we had the one, of course, off the start, but now that these guys are spread out, I just don't know that it's going to happen. But you never know. Jourdain trying to get ready for another strike there at the 42 car, who's off way deep at turn 4. Cody Smith back on, right in front of Housden. Gonna lock that spot down, and Tucker and Arthur into the pits.
This is early.
No, I just said the pit window right is... I just said it's open.
You could say, I know, but...
It's okay, I stepped all over my tongue there trying to get the words out, but I suppose it's on the early end of the window, I'll give you that.
That's more what I meant. I don't know. You know what I'm thinking here. My mentality is always to just try and run longer and run that tank out. So, I don't know. I like the call. It's still technically a 2-stop race, but we'll have to see how it all plays out, because at the same time, you've got guys like Brady Moats, who are now inside the top 10, who pitted under that first caution and took that extra gas. 14.2 seconds in the box for Arthur. He is out and away, and he falls in right behind Cody Smith. So
more
really
in the
lose
pit
out
lane.
top 10.
Let's watch this 15. This is important. Is that hood going to get fixed? Apparently everybody else sees it that way too. And there we go. The hood is down on the engine at least. And there we go. iRacing has fixed it. Oh, thank you, iRacing pit crew. We can finally use the onboard cameras for what God intended them for. Here we go.
Duct tape.
Yeah, the bear bond has been applied. Ryan Housden going to get down and away right behind Caden Henry Oaks. And now that he can see, I think that 5 needs to be worried. Pit stop. Jacob Malone into the pit lane. Tucker will lead that lap, it looks like, as Malone will come in. You see Baumler off the pit. Slow entry there for Malone. I think he might have missed the box a little bit. Maybe lost track of where he was in the lane, because that was very, very slow getting into the box itself.
It's not gonna matter, Andrew. He's got such a huge lead. I don't think him missing it is going to matter all that much to begin with. He's done a fantastic job to get himself up there. I mean, kudos, realistically.
Top of the pits, and by the way, Ronnie Norman has left the facility. Let's go back mid-pit cycle and see what happened to the number 7 car. This is unexpected, I'd say. Let's see what happened here to Ronnie. This might be a little bit early, admittedly. We'll see what happened to the Harris number 7. This is obviously in stark contrast to how this purple and yellow 7 would have ever driven back in the day. It would have been Robbie Gordon in that car. That was just strange in the S's. What is going on here for Ronnie? Into the pits he goes. I think he just called it a day.
He just might have.
Robbie Gordon, of course, back in the early 2000s, was always a driver to watch on a road course in NASCAR competition, but I wonder if Nick Geilis has any info for us on the number 7, as he is kind of our background spotter and reporter, it seems, this evening, as he's out of the race early. I'm gonna go ahead a little bit in the replay. Yeah, it looks like, well, looks like he might have taken one more lap. So this might be just out of the pit lane. Let's go back, Zach. Let's just follow through and see if anything else happens to Norman. I can tell you, not much is changing with the leaders. They have cycled out about exactly as you would expect. It's Malone over Arthur over Tucker. So really no change there, as apparently that camera is still in the corner marshal stand. And if we get to the S's and we see the exact same kind of pattern, I think we'll just let this go and chalk it up to a bad night for the 7 car.
I think there's quite a few people that have had a bad night so far.
Yeah.
It's been one to forget.
I know road racing is just not everybody's thing, but I really thought this car felt good, and yeah, that's through the grass there, so that was his in-lap. Maybe something happened after the stop, I don't know, but we'll save him all of that, and save you all of that, as Jacob Malone goes fastest. How about Josh Conover leading, though? Blackwell right behind. This is important to note, Zach, that is for position. Neither of these two have pitted yet. So the 99 may well have a very, very good finish on the way.
All remains to be seen. Blackwell has been a bit of a dark horse, I'll say, because we've seen the consistency out of him. We've seen the speed at short tracks. We know that car has potential. We know that driver has potential. We just haven't seen all there is to see yet.
He is not pitting yet. Neither is Conover. Neither of these drivers, though, stayed out. Or, sorry, they both stayed out. Neither of them pitted under that caution we had at the start. So it's interesting to me that they're still going, but we'll stay on board here with Blackwell. Interesting. Third gear over the hill there. I would think you'd want to drop to second, but maybe this is part of the strategy. Keep it in a higher gear, lower revs, less wheel spin, and less fuel use. They're out of turn 2. Seems to take it to second, though. He does take it to second for turn 4. I'll be curious to see if he hits first over here in 7 as Conover blinks a little bit. Does he hit first?
No.
No, it's actually an early shift to third to mitigate the wheel spin. I like it.
Ooh, why didn't I do that? I was running a few test laps and feeling out where the wheel spin was going to be the most prominent, and turn 7 is one of them. Turn 11 is another. So short shifts to mitigate the wheel spin is definitely a heck of an idea right there. That is phenomenally good.
You see these two leaders will stay on the racetrack a little bit longer. Drivers yet to pit, Conover, Blackwell, first and second. Also Cody Anderson back here, who is currently running 7th. And then Christenberry, Gladgelich, and George. Everybody else is pitted, albeit some at different times. We still await Donald Kite in the pit lane in this run, but he has technically hit the pit lane for his first stop. Technically, he just did that 24 laps ago during caution, and it is not a good looking night for Chained Graboid, as his Xbox gamer tag used to be. In fact, this pass right behind him, or this car right behind him, will be for position. That's Cody Smith to the inside. Donald, even without pitting under this green flag run, is 18th. So not a great night for the 21 car. Kind of a detour from what he's had lately. The good runs at Pocono and Michigan. I believe he was even our driver of the day last week. Back to that battle, though, first and second. Obviously, this will not be first and second once they pit, but Blackwell is such an interesting kind of wild card here for the win, potentially, as Conover will pit, Blackwell will stay out. So this should give Noah a lap lead here in a moment as he rounds turn 11, and sure enough, he'll move into the race lead and will lead across the stripe here to complete lap 28 of 66. Joining Conover in the pit lane this lap, will we get the 33? Well, we'll have to wait a while. These guys are that far back right now, 40 seconds behind Blackwell, the race leader, as there goes Malone past the start-finish line. He is our leader to be, Zach, and the gap back to Arthur has only grown. We're talking somewhere to the tune of 14 seconds or more.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. He is just lights out and away right now.
15 seconds, it looks like, as Arthur has the 3 to worry about. And you know what? This is exactly how we all dreamt that one of these races would go for, like a Boris Said or a PJ Jones, a Scott Pruitt, a Ron Fellows. Up at the front, while the points guys battle it out for second and third. It's what we've seen a lot of actually in the SVG era in NASCAR. Granted, he is now racing for the championship in the NASCAR Cup Series, but for a year or two there, it seemed like the Project 91 entry, especially when it had SVG behind the wheel, was just a spoiler on the road courses. Now, thankfully, SVG running for points. But again, Zach, it's a spoiler to the guys that are racing for the championship. You know, Malone only racing for owner's points this season, as Blackwell will pit this lap. Hands lead back over to the 18 car. But I mean, these two are our championship favorites, and they are battling it out for next best. Blackwell has just come out of the pit lane. He is a little ways behind Conover, a little farther back than when he went into the pits. About 1.4 seconds. Shouldn't be too bad, though. Jordan White in the pit lane. Somehow I missed this. He actually had not taken his stop yet for this run. So I actually missed that for Jordan White. He now gets his stop done and dusted, and he'll get back out there. Kristen Berry, it looks like, coming into the pits as well on the number 11, so he is in. This now leaves just Cody Anderson and Jacob Gladulich. I am not so sure that either one of them are going to make good use of this strategy, but you see Anderson in 6th, so maybe, while Gladulich runs 10th. Keep in mind, Anderson has had a spin in this run, so he could be, 10 seconds up the road in 4th.
Or he could be further down.
Well,
I know what you were saying there, and it didn't
try
click
to be
for
positive,
a second.
Zach.
I know what you were saying, that he could be further up if he didn't spin.
Right.
And it didn't click for a second. I thought we were kind of going about it in the way of where he could be otherwise, but don't mind me. Jacob Gladulich, though, inside the top 10 currently. If I remember correctly, he has not made his stop yet.
He has not. He is now the remaining driver yet to pit since the beginning of this race and during this run. We still wait for Kite in the pit lane. He has stretched this fuel out to this point, but he did pit at the first caution of the night. So actually, keep that in mind for Donald. He might be trying to run this until about lap 35, 36, so that he can stretch it to the end from there. That said, he just went a lap down naturally to the race leader, so I just don't know if it's really worth it in what he's losing
not gonna get him
in
as
terms
much
of
as he thinks
pace.
he is.
No, it worked at Michigan last week. I don't know about here tonight, as Anderson and White have a moment. White checks up out of turn 2. That might be worth a replay. Let's check it out. So this is all these guys catching up to the 33 who's exiting the pit lane. There goes Anderson. White goes on by. Anderson right behind. White just goes off of the course and back on. And that allows these guys all to go on through.
Great job to miss everybody. And honestly, I feel like Jordan got caught out a little bit there.
Yeah.
Cody Anderson came out of the pit lane very, very tight. And it's hard to not get spooked because Sonoma pit exit is literally right onto the racing surface. It's incredibly tight. There you see Anderson to the left. He
definitely gave room, I think, and kind of checked his steering there into turn 2, and boy, oh boy, that was a rough ride over the curbing. I do want to watch that actually from the driver's eye POV. Let's do that. So you can actually see what we're talking about, Zach, because, he sees the 33 there on his left side. He doesn't know exactly how quick that car is going to get up to speed, so he checks his steering a little bit, right? Here, maybe. Well, he might have just gotten distracted, actually. Yeah, he didn't really check the steering. He might have just got distracted.
Well, that's more so what I was getting at, is that it's a tight pit exit. You pretty much go from apron to racing surface in the matter of about half a second anyway. There's no time for Jordan to really understand that car is still slow. He gives the space. granted, he did a good job of understanding that there was a car coming out of the pit lane. He just didn't realize the closing distance and didn't know that he was still going to have that corner.
Well, Donald Kite going to hit the racetrack here. Get back out in the 21st position. That is last of all cars still running. Best battle on the racetrack is Tubb and Henry Oaks. Side by side here out of turn 11. Tubb getting the spot. Caden wants it back. No dice. At least into turn 1. Let's see turn 2. And I think Tubb is setting sail.
Could you imagine if we got a full course yellow right now?
Oh,
I mean,
Zach.
just imagine. Like, I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to say, what happens if we get a full course yellow? I mean, just think about it.
I guess we'll find out. If we get one.
If we get one.
Next best battle on the racetrack, I'm going to say, is actually way back here. Oh, maybe not. Gladjulich bails off driver's right. He was all over the back bumper of Matthew George for 19th. It's up the road then from that. How about this little gaggle? White, Skavnicki, and Baumler. Gavin Baumler not having a great evening at all. Talk about him being in the top 10 in power rankings coming into tonight. He might drop out after Sonoma. And things are really, really tight here as well, actually. Gladjulich hot on his tail. They almost tied in power rankings. Even so, Gladjulich a few spots behind the 81. So, you know, then I start to look at who else. Like Cody Smith is right there in that territory. I definitely think we're going to see at least somebody in this top 10 drop out and somebody new pop in into Chicago next week.
Well, I don't think you're wrong. I realistically do not think you're wrong at this point. These road course races, they bring out a different breed of driver, and it shows.
Meanwhile, this guy might climb up a little higher. Ryan Housden. Of course, with Kleba ahead of him in the power rankings, not racing tonight, I dare say he should jump at least the 9 car. But Durheim is only 1 spot ahead. Granted, that's 7 seconds on the racetrack. I mean, that's a big gap, though, to go from 46 up to 53. And then Arthur certainly is a lock for the top 3 unless something big happens there. So, I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. In the pit lane, though. Or is it? No. Turned around. Turn 11. Problems with the 5 car. His first start in the new ride. Here comes Skavnicki to go on through, and there is a bit of damage on that number 5 as well. It's not driving quite right.
They're going to be side by side, rolling up into turn 1 right here. Or at least it looked like it for a moment.
Caden's going to hang on to 15th now over Kevin Baumler. Let's go back and see what happened to the 5. Well, I don't know. Is he going to make it through turn 4? Looks like it. All right, he's all right. Let's go see what happened to the 5 over in turn 11. Cody Smith just comes up. Boom. You're going around. See you later. That is the second car now that the 42 has spun around since the restart. At least the second.
Well, that's not good.
I will say, Zach, I miss the days when that temporary concrete wall down there was tire stacks.
I somewhat miss it as well. It feels more classic, and I can understand why it's there now, but I don't know. One does miss those blue and yellow tires.
I'll tell you what, if we did have a big crash off of a restart or something going down into 11, it'll be a just epic cluster, if you will, into turn 11. It will be a mess. By the way, the top 10 on the lead lap, 11th on back, 1 lap down. Smith is now a lap down, Anderson, White, Scott Dickey, everybody else, as Jacob Malone continues to tear through this field. He is now 19 seconds up on the battle for second, which has been pretty quiet the last handful of laps. There you see Arthur and Tucker. I really think if you're Dalton Tucker here, Zach, honestly, there's a saying in the Star Wars universe, let the Wookiee win. Take third.
What? Oh!
You never heard that?
No, I was like, wait a second, what movie is that from? It's from A New Hope.
Yes, let the Wookiee win.
Oh,
in this
man.
case, honestly, you know, if an opportunity presents itself, sure, go for second. But frankly, he has got so many points on the rest of the chase field, not only coming into tonight, but also in the points he's earning tonight, being that he's ahead of most everybody he's racing for the chase. Just take the third, be happy with it, get out of here, get on to Chicagoland. I mean, this is a relatively stress-free position that Tucker is in right now, right? Third, 14 seconds back to fourth. Relax, race the track, just get home. We're inside of 20 to go, or rather 30 to go. So, we are counting the laps down at this point. That's just my take, though, and we know how telling drivers to relax goes. It simply doesn't.
You don't have to tell me twice.
So as we approach the later stages of this race, let's take a look around the racetrack a little bit, Zach, and, well, I actually want to talk about what's upcoming for us here at Pitstop.TV. We've got a rare double feature of the same league this week. You ready?
I'm ready.
How about this? Dirt racing twice in 1 week, twice in 3 days. We're going to Williams Grove with the non-wings for the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. And then we're going right back at it with them on Friday at Cedar Lake with the winged cars. So 410 wingless at a track that typically doesn't see wingless cars. And then 410 winged at a track that typically doesn't see winged cars, I believe, and typically would see wingless over in Wisconsin. So I'm excited. I think these are two really great racetracks that we're going to be hitting this week. I'm very excited to see how it goes. Of course, then you see Chicagoland next week, Monday, June 22nd. And so this is where we need Rusty Rafferty and Chris Winstone and all you guys to come back in the chat, maybe even Nick Dylas. I want to know, do we want to see Dirt Legends at either one of these racetracks on either one of these nights? Because, Zach, as everybody knows here, you and I are legend car aficionados. Every summer, if it's a Tuesday, we're at Charlotte, right? You on the competition side, me on the broadcast side, we love Legends cars and we love Legends racing. Do we want to host some Legends racing on dirt this week? We've got 2 opportunities. Do we want to do it? Rusty Rafferty, you tell me. Zach, what do you think?
I'm here for it. I'm not much of a dirt aficionado as I am on asphalt, but I think some legend cars on dirt would be a sight to see. And heck, who knows? We could rope that in with the Pit Stop TV broadcast and find ourselves in a fascinating spot to make some fun stuff happen. But there's a lot going on. There's a lot to see, and frankly, I'm here for it. Unfortunately, I won't be present for Friday if there's so many Legend shows because I have a wedding to go to. My cousin's getting married.
Well, congratulations to them. But I'm excited. Cedar Lake is a really cool racetrack. Maybe we'll get super in on that. That's a fun one. I really do like Cedar Lake a lot. Chris Winstone says he can do Wednesday at Williams Grove. Rusty, if you're out there watching, Can you be there? Should we do some legend car racing? Here we go. Battle for second sparking back up. Lap 41 of 66. Side by side. Zach, I said if I'm Dalton Tucker, I'd be waiting. He is not.
Needs to wait. What's patience?
You saw they were side by side at 11 there, but over the hill at turn 2, they are back nose to tail, separated by just a little bit here. Josh Conover going to hit the pit lane. This, I will say, feels a tad early. I would think the pit window would open up about lap 44, not 41. I wonder, he actually went longer. Is he going to go no tires? Yeah, fuel only. So that is what he's doing there. And I thought we might see this out of a couple of drivers. So he's going to pit early, take no tires, and get back out there. That spits him back out in 6th. He lost only 2 positions there doing that. 7.3 seconds in the box, 30 in the lane, 36 or so, 38.
I'm trying to do some math.
He's on the edge of what can be done, but I mean, he's got enough fuel from here to go to the end.
He should. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they told us
24 to 27.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, I thought it was 21 to 24 there for a second. Yes, 24 to 27 laps. So stretch the gas a little bit. Find yourself pitting late. Put less gas in so it's not as loose. Maybe set yourself up for a bit of a tighter run to the end. I don't know. It's worth a shot.
Oh, I guarantee Conover only put enough gas in to go to the end, as here comes Moats. He has just hit the pit lane as well. In fact, he has already boxed, it looks like. He took foreign fuel. I don't know why you would do that.
And the goal to take foreign fuel?
But if we just saw Conover do it with no tires, I don't know why. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what's advantageous and what isn't. It very well could be that the no tire strategy simply does not work. Maybe it's a little bit too slow over the course of the run. I don't know. We'll see. We aren't seeing that much fall off. I mean, for example, Malone's last lap, a 117. His best is a 116. About a second and a couple of tenths fall off for the best of drivers. I guess for others it could be a little different, but heck, Ryan Housden, he's on 19 lap old tires. His fall off over this run, about 2 tenths. That's it.
You know, Andrew, I think we got to give Housden a lot of credit for rebounding as well as he has, especially
Absolutely.
with the damage on that race car. Putting himself
Absolutely.
back into the top 10. He's up to 6 now with a couple of cars in the pit lane. I believe Blackwell in the pit lane right now. So that would promote Housden to the 5th position. There is Blackwell coming out of the pits. A little bit of a left front lock out of the 15. They're going to end up racing heads up for that 5th position.
And look who's right
with
behind
Malone
him.
getting ready to put a show on by lapping them. Malone has got 3/4 of the field a lap down. 4/5, if you will. As of now, 4/5.
I went to hit the side camera there on the 15, but Malone passed him so fast it was pointless. That's incredible. The 18 is on rails this evening.
He's about to put the 99 a lap down.
Caden Henry Oaks in the pit lane, yeah. Blackwell about to go a lap down. Although Blackwell has pitted, and that's the distinction to make here. Malone has not yet made his final stop of the race. The 99 has.
Doesn't take away from the fact that he's got all but 4 other cars one
Sure.
lap down on the field.
Sure, but that number will change slightly once this cycles. I don't know what it will end up being, but absolutely a stunner of a performance by the 18. There goes Housden into the pit lane. He will get his second stop, or I guess final stop of the race, I should say.
See if he can get a little bit more damage fixed on the front end of that race car, maybe. Maybe even get the bumper back on the racing machine. Who knows? He is definitely in a comfortable position compared to the rest of the field. Tub goes on by. Anderson and White are the next two cars that would be up there. And look at that. The
Don't
81.
tell me that's the 81. It is. He just came in with that engine smoking. He's been there about 40 seconds. Let's go back and see what happened. What happened here? Oh boy, it was like this for a while. Looks like an incident maybe out of turn 7. Don't tell me it was a money shift. Come on, Kevin. Let's listen in. Here's turn 4. Usually about second gear. Sounds like it. There's no pull to third, so he's still in second. Gas. Money shift. Man, no.
Oh.
It revved up. How did he blow the engine in that?
I'm a little perplexed right there.
Did he money shift it just for that short time? Let's watch from TV camera. When does the smoke start? Oh, you know what, Zach? I bet you he cleaned the oil pan out from underneath it.
It's a possibility.
Way it slams back down, took that little jump and slams the pavement. Watch this. Loose on the shift. Whoop, boom. Yeah, I think that's what did it.
It started smoking after it hit the wall right there, so...
Well, I mean, it takes a moment for the smoke to start. Regardless, that doesn't seem like a big enough hit to the wall to have done that.
Crank the volume up a little bit. See if we can tell where it happens.
Tell you what, we got enough cameras here to make a good replay out of it. Let's see what happened then. If you say go on board, we will go on board.
Throttle up. You can't even really hear when the motor expires.
No.
Usually you hear a big old crunch. And that's how you know that something's broke in the motor.
He just brings it back to the pit lane with all that smoke behind. Thankfully, this is something iRacing does not simulate oil being left on the racetrack. Or even water in this case, since that was a nose impact that could have been the radiator. Thankfully, we don't have fluid to go clean up. Or that could have been a mess.
Big one. In fact, that would have been a full course yellow. Which, you know, Andrew, I'd like to talk about. Because what would happen if a full course caution were to come out at this point in time in the race? With guys already topping off to make it to the end, taking their last set of tires that they would need for the event, who really knows? We had the first full course yellow, lap 1, haven't had one since. We've had a couple cars turn around, but we've kept it clean and we've kept it green.
I can tell you who's definitely keeping it clean and green. Our race leader.
Well, he is green. That doesn't make sense.
It does exactly make sense. The car is green. He's leading. And he is out about to lap the 16 car. This will be 10th position. He's got housed at a lap down right behind him. We do still have a couple of cars yet to make their final stop. Those are White and Anderson. As Malone looks to lap the 16, he'll do so very easily. No contest there from Chase Durheim, who is en route to about an 8th place finish here tonight if things hold. Boy, what a show, though, out of the 18. And, you know, we're talking about getting Chris Winstone into this series. We don't know what car it's going to be in just yet, but I'd imagine there might be some stock in road wingers after tonight. Because if there is this kind of competition on road courses from the 18 car, anybody, any owner is going to want to put a road ringer in one of their cars if they've got the car to do it. But I can tell you, Chris Winstone, you're locked down with us, right? We're going to make an entrance into NORA. Like, it's going to happen. I've been talking to Josh since Daytona about getting a Whiplash racing car kind of set aside. And, boy, we've got to make it happen. Oh, hang on. Wow. I think that was just getting a little too far out the racetrack there, Zach, but that was close. And it actually brings me to what Chris Winstow most recently asked about in YouTube chat. You know, what made the 81 spin? I think it was revving the car too high. I think he might have tried to go for the upshift and had too many revs in it. That might have buzzed the tires a little bit. It also may have been a money shift that he just caught really quickly. And, you know, a second to first kind of thing when he went to pull for third. It's hard to say without talking to him to know exactly what he felt and what happened there. But certainly a problem for the 81 car as these guys will battle now. This is for 5th. Blackwell and Moats. Conover got back on it and got away from the 99 car, and now the 8 is going for a top 5 on a road course.
I won't lie to you, Andrew. When you said buzzing the tires, my head went to buzzing the tower.
Hopefully we don't have anybody flying quite that high this evening. I guess there's still time in the race to go, as we are inside of 20 to go. I'll tell you what, where a bunch of these races that we cover these days, doesn't matter what series it is, are just non-stop, full throttle excitement. I'm not saying this isn't an exciting race, but I am saying it's nice to kind of relax a little bit. As, oh, I didn't realize that camera was still on the dang bridge. We'll fix that. But yeah, it's good to have a race that's a little calmer, honestly. We can kind of sit back, just enjoy some racing, have little pocket battles here and there. This also gives these guys a chance, especially with the chase looming. And we're going to start pressing them big time about the chase, especially in these pre-race interviews. We're going to be asking some hard questions. So this gives them a chance to relax a little bit. Sure, it's a road course, so maybe they're not relaxing too much as Malone goes faster. But a bit of a reprieve is the word I'm looking for. A reprieve from the ovals. We'll be back at Chicagoland next week, and that's right back to business. Then it's Montreal, so again, kind of a little bit different, kind of a throwaway round for some guys. And then back to Daytona, and you've got to be on your A game when we get to Daytona for the summer. That is going to be a big opportunity for anybody to put points in the bag, because anybody can win it. Meanwhile, last week's winner, Brian Jones, about to go a lap down here at Sonoma. There goes Malone on by, and Jones succumbs to the number 18. With 2 cars left ahead, yet to pit for the final time this evening, it certainly looks like we are going to have, at best, about 5 or 6 cars on the lead lap at the end of this race, possibly even fewer. This is one of the 2 drivers yet to pit. The 33 and 31 are kind of on the same strategy here. That is White in the 31 and Anderson in the 33. It's also nice to see, Zach, that Jourdain has kind of met a challenge. He was contending for wins every single week over in BRB, and he still will be. They get back to racing tomorrow in alternate coverage for the summer. He's also been, up front in all the races that he's run in the All-American Racing Network, but this has been a bit of a challenge, it seems like, for him in a good way. And I think as a driver, it's good to make sure you are still getting challenged. You don't ever just want to be at the top of your league and just stay there. Look at even Max Verstappen going and running GT3 racing at the Nürburgring and such. He's trying to find new challenges, find something a little bit different all the time. You even have some of the road guys like Kimi Räikkönen, who ran some NASCAR races, not just for Project 91 a few years ago at Watkins Glen and such, but even earlier on in his career for, I believe, Kyle-Busch Motorsports and some teams there. He ran a truck race. I think he ran an Xfinity race, or I guess an O'Reilly race at one point in time. So there will be drivers throughout the course of history that just periodically look for something a little bit different. And this seems to be Jourdain's something a little bit different at this point in time. a car and a field that is just a little bit different to him and a little bit more challenging, and he's still figured out. He's 7th right now. Obviously, he needs to pit one more time here, but he's been having some decent runs here in this number 31 car. And into the pit lane, possibly for the final time this evening, the number 88, Nick Hom, will head back out. Blažević has just sailed on by. By the way, Jacob. Boy, this could be fun. Does he have enough fuel to go to the end? He pitted 19 laps ago. That was the latest, I believe, out of the drivers who stretched the fuel out. By the way, in case you're curious about Donald Kite, Kite has already pitted. He has made his final stop. The pit stop, or the pit lane rather, for Cody Anderson. He'll hit the pit lane. Brady Motes, here we go. Battle for 5th, kicking back up. He's working on Noah Blackwell on the number 99. By the way, Nick Hom has headed back to the pit lane. He is back in the pit, so problems for the 88. Perhaps a penalty here for Hom as he's back in. Caden Henry Oaks seems to have potentially had about the same kind of thing go on for him. He had to make an extra stop on an extra trip down the pits. This is kind of a compelling fight to check in on briefly. Durheim and Housden. Durheim's still winless this season. Housden, we thought maybe had a chance at a win tonight. Now all that damage, he sits in, well, once they pass Jordan White, he'll be 9th. As Jordan White has made his final stop of the race. I believe all but Blažević have now made that final stop. Oh, and Christenberry, it looks like. Christenberry still needs to pit one more time. And we saw the comment out in YouTube chat asking about lap times. Those are on screen currently on the ticker. You see the 1:16.233 for Malone, 1:16.991 for Motes. There's a little bit of context as to who's got the fastest laps of the race. This is the best battle on the racetrack, actually. Everybody is split apart. The narrowest gap other than this is about 1.2, 1.3 seconds. So on board we go with Ryan Housden at this point in time as he puts pressure on the number 16. This is for 8th spot. These guys are really hitting these curves. It's late in the race. They know what's at stake. They know they each need the points. Durheim a little less so. Housden really needs them. He needs to keep himself in that chase contention. And coming into this evening, Housden had 62 to the line. This is not the night he thought he was going to have, so he's definitely trying to tread water. That said, it's been a bad night for Blažević, Norman, and Kite behind him, the next 3 behind him. Tubb is 10th at least, so Tubb is having a decent race. Arthur, of course, he's up front, as is Motes. Smith, though, is out, and Christenberry, he is yet to pit for the final time. He's going to end up with a not-so-great result by the end of it. So I think Housden is in a decent spot. He's going to earn a lot of points, but he still needs to stay honest, especially on these road courses. as we never know what could happen at Montreal and Watkins Glen later this summer. Next time by the flag stand for Jacob Malone will be 10 laps to go, as he is pulling away even farther with that race lead. 25 seconds now. Back to the 24 of Vincent Arthur. As we take a look here from the fan cam. Jordan White, he's in trouble. This is out of turn 2. We're going to look back at what happened to the Jamaican driver. He was actually running with Christenberry here, as you see the number 11 right behind. And up the hill, here comes the number 11. Is there any contact? It doesn't look like it. Jordan White into turn 2, might have just buzzed the rears off the curbing there maybe, and sure enough, around she went. Thankfully, nobody made contact with the 31. You know, we're not out of the water, or out of the woods, whatever the saying wants to be. We're not out of it just yet as far as a caution. I know we just hit 10 to go. We've been green for, what, 54 laps now? 53 laps? But we could absolutely still have a caution in this race. Bunch these guys back up and throw everything out the window for this number 18. By the way, Anderson and Christenberry, this could be where the caution happens. These two packed up on each other. A battle for 11th and 12th. I do wonder, for those of you that are out of the race already, that have not had a good night here on this road course, there's a handful of you. I mean, Kite is now out of the race, it looks like. That's been a relatively recent change. But Kite, Baumler, Smith, George, Senior, Fulham, Norman, Gillis. I know at least Senior and Gillis, I think, are watching. How do we feel about Montreal in 2 weeks? That's a road course we don't see very often for stock cars. Of course, it used to be a mainstay in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. But it's going to be a little bit different in these Cup cars. How do we feel about that one? The trip to Canada going to change some things up. To the pit lane, it looks like, for the 31. What is going on here? Jordan White in trouble of some sort. Nick Gillis excited for Montreal. Hunter Sr. not so much. Into the pit lane. I'm not sure what was going on there for Jourdain. But you see him grab the pit wall and continue on. He is back on the racetrack. Looks like it might have been a drive-through maybe for incidents. So the gap at the front, 26.5 seconds from Malone back to Arthur. Zach, I see that you've returned. I'm curious, do we even bother picking Jacob Malone? Do we just lock him in and pick the next 3?
I think he's a solid lock, and you usually put me on the spot first, so I'm going to take him and roll with that for pick number 1. And I think pick number 2, there's no other option. I feel like the top 4 is usually the drivers that we tend to look at, so I'm going to go with Vincent Arthur in that 24 car, currently sitting 26.9 seconds back from the race leader. Solid pick for pick number 2. So the 18 and the 24 are going to be my 2 picks for driver of the day.
And there you see Vincent Arthur. He's got some room now back to the 3 car of Tucker. I'm curious. I do want to see positions gained here. I know it's going to be skewed for one of them, Housden. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Brady Motes up 18 spots from 23rd on the grid. I think we're going to take the 8, and I think we're going to take the 15. A couple of DEI cars, because that is very, very impressive out of Brady Motes. And let's go back to Ryan Housden. The issues there at the start, of course, he dug himself the initial hole to at least, I guess, sit in the dirt a little bit with the start infraction, but everything since then, not his fault. He's just trying to recover, and sure, again, he started the bleeding, but boy, the knife was twisted really, really badly when he got that damage from the crash with Hunter Sr. Looked like he even got some damage just trying to get up to Hunter Sr. at that point in time, but since then, Ryan has put on an amazing show of how to save a race, right? I mean, he was back there, you see, as low as 23rd after that penalty and that restart. He easily could have just rolled around in the dirt, called it a day, and been sad about it. Instead, he's gotten back up on the wheel. He's looking for 8th place right here if he can just get by Chase Durheim. So that vote is going to go live over on YouTube. You can make your votes. Do so promptly. Only about 6 laps to go here at Sonoma Raceway. And your choices are 1st, 2nd, and then 5th and 9th. Jacob Malone, Vincent Arthur, Brady Motes, and Ryan Housden. I know my vote would go either to Malone or Housden. I'm not sure which, honestly. That's like a 50-50 for me, because Malone has dominated this race. But Housden has had the great recovery, and I still really wish we could have seen Malone and Housden race this one out.
How many laps has Malone led so far? 53 laps left. Well, you got to take into account the green flag stops that were going on, but he's just been lights out and away from everybody else. There's no contest. Unless he spins himself out, even if he spins himself out, he's still got this race locked down.
He could pull over, get a cheeseburger, eat an ice cream cone, get back out there and be okay.
Go scarf down a slice of pizza before hopping in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
I know, that's why I said it.
So yeah, I mean,
for context for everyone watching, before we went live, I'm sitting here waiting to get ready to go, and Andrew says, "Be right back. I'm going to go grab a slice of pizza," as Malone just does a little bit of a power slide through turn 3A. Scarfs it down immediately, then says, "All right, stand by. We're going live." He's just like, "I'm not eating anything all day. I'm going to grab myself a slice of pizza, and we're going to rock, roll, and rumble at Sonoma."
Frankly, Zach, that's the way it goes. If you know, in the broadcasting world, in the real world, okay, working at a racetrack all day, you frankly you take the meals however you can get them. As Glagula just hit in the pit lane finally for his final stop of the race. It looks like he'll be joined maybe by another driver or two, but my point is, there have been multiple broadcasts I can recall, even at Charlotte for Summer Shootout, of finishing my food that I grab on the way to the racetrack right before the broadcast starts, or when you're at a racetrack all day, doing the setup work, whatever, waiting on the show to start, sometimes you go to the concession stand, the refreshment stand, grab yourself maybe a famous South Boston bologna burger, or perhaps, I've done this at Hickory actually, grab some chicken tenders and fries, as Nick Hom is in the pit lane to join the 20 of Gladulich. But some chicken tenders and fries at Hickory, that's a popular one for me. Take it back up to the tower, or even out to the production trailer, sit down, and just scarf it down really quick. You've got the show to happen. You got about 5 minutes to make the food part happen. You do what you can, Zach, and in this case, we, I guess, patronized, if you will, Tony's Pizza in Mooresville, North Carolina this evening. Kayla got a 24-inch pie that takes up about half the living room, and look, she said, "Hey, do you want a piece of this slice?" I said, "Absolutely. Let's go for it." It had some garlic on it. It was fantastic. I have some stromboli waiting on me when this is over.
You make me hungry for pizza, and I'm now actively looking to see what pizza places are still open.
Look, I am a sucker for straight up Papa John's. That's always been my favorite pizza. I'm sorry, I know there is better pizza out there. I've had better pizza, whether it's New York style, whether it's Chicago deep dish. That's what I really like. I know there's better pizza out there, but Papa John's it's reliable. It's you know what you're getting. I mean, better ingredients certainly. Papa, I would take the sponsorship.
Better ingredients, better pizza. Come on, man.
No, just seriously, it is. I don't know, something about it. I think that's the pizza that we used to get when I was a kid. So it's kind of nostalgic to me. It's just it feels right. But we're inside of 3 to go.
50% off, so like I can't complain.
There you go. Here we go. Battle for second. Inside of 3 to go, Zach. The 24 and the 3 on a road course. This just feels right.
Tucker has been slamming the pressure on the 24 through turn 1, tips the grass, misses the mark, can't quite get there on the 24. Tucker loses a little bit of ground right there through 3A into 7. One would think 6 comes before 7. Don't even think about making a joke about that.
Well, apparently you already thought of making a joke about it.
Yeah, because you were going to do it. But
no, I wasn't.
Sonoma are so confusing sometimes. Here we go. 2 drivers that we didn't expect to see next to each other. Well, I did. They didn't. Brady Moats and Josh Conover fighting it out for the 4th position. Hello to the inside. Brady Moats slides it in there, slides straight through, and Josh Conover says, "Thank you very much. See you later, Brady." There's a joke in there that I'm missing, and Brady will probably call me out on it later. He sent it in there firewall deep and did not make it stick.
Hey, Hunter Sr. agrees. A fellow Italian that likes Papa John's. Problems for Nick Hom, it looks like. Could we still get a caution? He has got a bunch of right front damage. Hey, this is the last lap. This is the last lap that it can happen. There goes Caden Henry Oaks on by. Hom's going to try and stick it out. Let's see what happened to the 88 before we get back to the battle for second. Here is Nick Hom through the S's. What happens to that number 88? Herbie, oh no!
Up the curb, hit the grass.
And boom, tire wall.
Right into the tires. Bounced off with the front end and pretty much W'd in the front, but...
And there it is, white flag brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. That's how far ahead the 18 truly is. 31 seconds. Call it 32 here in a moment. Ahead of second and third. What a show by Jacob Malone here today. Unbelievable. This is a win I don't think anybody can disagree that he deserves. I still wish we could have seen the battle between he and Houston, but frankly, Zach, if this was always going to happen for the 15 car, absolutely. The 18 put on the show that he needed to. It'll be an owner's points win. It won't matter much for the chase, but this will certainly make some waves around the series, I think.
It absolutely will. He has done a phenomenal job to point this car in the right direction, Andrew, and as we roll through the last couple of corners, he's got 1 hairpin away from marking himself in the record books. He's doing some celebratory slides already, Andrew. He has got it on lock. Through the hairpin, Malone has got no contest out in front or behind.
He's going to drift it out of turn 11, maybe through turn 12. Can you link them together? Can you get the clipping point, Jacob? Can you get it? Can you get it? Can you get it? I'll take it. A drift across the line for Jacob Malone. He wins at Sonoma. The battle now for second. Vincent Arthur and Dalton Tucker through the S's into turn 10. I don't think the 3 is going to get there now. Our eyes then will turn actually to this fight. Around to the final corner. Jordan White a lap down. He's going to spin it and lose 13th to Jake Christenberry. Arthur comes up right behind, and it will be a second position for Vincent Arthur this evening. Second week running for the 24 car. As Christenberry has a problem at the line, Jordan gets it back. Maybe there was contact, Zach, as here we go. These two might not be done. Couple of friends for 4th and 5th.
Oates is going to send it. He said he was coming from the back. He's prepared to make it happen. He doesn't have a lot of chances left. He throws it in there on Josh Conover. Straight lines, misses it. Hello, Conover for 4th position. And Brady, I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna make the joke. You said you were coming from the back to the front. You didn't quite get there. Oh, Josh is gonna slow down and taunt him at the line. Oh, baby.
And how about this? 6th place for Noah Blackwell. This one kind of went under the radar, but I think he's deserving of an honorable mention this evening for driver of the day. His 6th place for the 99 is certainly the best result we've seen out of that car so far this season. And here we go, the celebration for Jacob Malone. He's already back to the hairpin, and he is burning it down. A job well done for somebody we still don't really have on our radar. We don't know much about him. But what a race out of the 18 this evening.
Just a heck of a job to make it work. He was phenomenal all race long, Andrew. I think
he's
from the drop of the green flag.
Again, I mean, yeah, off track a little bit, but for a cup car, I'll take it.
I think from the drop of the green flag, we knew that he was the driver to beat. I mean,
maybe not the drop of the initial green, but certainly after that restart, I would agree.
Well, he was fastest in practice.
No,
for a while.
Well, yeah, Housden went faster later, and Housden was faster to begin with. I still go back. I want to see it Montreal. I wonder if we can get Malone versus Housden in that race. That would be cool.
Don't look now, Andrew, but while these guys are celebrating, they're lining up on the drag
Yes, sir, they are.
They're going to have some fun after the checkered flag.
Do we have a camera to work for that? Maybe.
Drag racing! We're getting drag racing on iRacing!
We've got Sonoma pink slips happening right here, and there goes the 18 down the strip. I think that was a false start, but whatever. There's the 3
well, drag race right here,
up.
Brian Jones.
Well, tell you what, we'll watch one run, and then we're going to our results and whatnot and wrapping this up this evening. Are we going to launch the 3 and the 20? We don't actually have a Christmas tree, a working Christmas tree here, unfortunately, but let's see. Are we going to send them? They're not quite lined up. There we go. Off the line, Tucker got the whole shot initially, but glides through the gears. Now it's Tucker. And I think at the quarter mile, it's going to be the 3 cars, certainly. How about that for a little post-race fun? This would be cool to do, to just have some fun with, maybe. We used to have the pit crew challenge for the All-Star race. Maybe we should do some drag races here at Sonoma as part of that next year. I don't know. Let's watch one more run, I guess. I've been hooked to that.
It's going to be Vincent Arthur and Kyle Tubb off the line. There's the launch. Arthur slips. Tubb slips. They're moving. They're rolling. Who's it going to be at the quarter mile? It's going to be Arthur in the 24. The wheel spin got them both, but it got Arthur a little less.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's
go back. As far as I'm hearing, left lane is very gripped up.
Okay, we'll do one more. After this, we're doing results. I promise.
See, you're getting into it too. It's
fun. I know. Let's see. One more shot here. This is the 8 versus the 99. Moats and Blackwell. This was nearly a battle for position, actually, in the race. It was a couple of times. And here they go, down and away from the fan cam. Better launch. Better reaction time from Moats. He's sliding, though. Blackwell slow through the gears. Here he comes. He's got better top end, maybe. And at the corner, it's still Moats, not by a whole lot. Well, let's go back and
no rear bumper.
Take a look at our unofficial race results before I start getting yelled at. Jacob Malone with a big-time win this evening at Sonoma. And we'll check out the full 25-car results here. Malone with the win. Arthur second. 31 seconds back. Oh, boy. Chris Winstone, are you going to save us from this at Montreal? I don't know. Vincent Arthur second, Dalton Tucker third. We'll be talking to each of those top 3. Josh Conover, Brady Moats, a solid 4th and 5th for each of them. They need it. They really do. Great results for those guys. Blackwell with a big finish tonight in 6th. Jones, a solid points night in 7th. Durheim as well. Housden and Tubb, much needed top 10s. Can't complain.
Outside the top 10, Cody Anderson, 1 lap down, with Skavnicki 2 down right behind him in the 12th spot. Jordan White lost it there at the end of the race in the hairpin, ends up 2 laps down in the 13th spot, with Christenberry and Gladjush behind him, 14th and 15th on the running order. Caden Henry Oaks 2 laps down in the 16th spot, with Nick Hom behind him, 17th, 3 laps down. And then you have the drivers that did not see the checkered flag. Donald Kite in the 18th position, with Kevin Baumler behind him, 19th, and Cody Smith in that 20th position. Then 5 other cars right behind them to round out your field: Matthew George, Brad Fulham, Hunter Sr., Ronnie Norman, and at 28 of Nick Glacius. 48 laps down at the end of the race in that 25th position. Saw all but about, 48 laps. Made it about 20 laps in the race. You hate to see it for a lot of these guys who are up there in the points that need a good night tonight. But these guys that need a good night as well are finishing well inside the top 10. But we've got our top 3 to talk to, Andrew.
Before we get into the actual pre-race or post-race show this evening, if you missed the pre-race show earlier, I really do urge you to go back and watch. We tried a few new things and we have more on the way. So please do check it out if you get the opportunity to do so. Meanwhile, let's grab the driver of the number 18 who wins this evening at Sonoma Raceway. You know what, honestly, we saw you go P1 in practice at one point in time, and we thought maybe then Housden was in trouble. It wasn't until that start infraction, though, that we really started to realize, oh yeah, this is Jacob's race. If that had not happened, Jacob, do you think you still get this win this easily? Because, I mean, you had clearly the 24, the 3 everybody else covered, but if Housden was up there with you, do you think it would have been a race?
It would have been interesting. My best area was on the long run, so if he had that pace on the back end of the run, I think it would have been interesting. But I don't know how he used his tires. I know we were in different gears throughout different corners, which can kind of determine your rear end response response in the later run. So it's kind of that dependence. It's kind of an unknown circumstance.
And all right, let's talk about you, Jacob. 3 races, you've already got a win. You dominated this one, far and away. What do we need to know about you? Because I know you've got some past NORA experience. You're not a stranger to these guys, but you're a stranger to us as we came in this season. What do we need to know about Jacob Malone? Are you running the rest of the season? How much more do we need to expect this 18 car in victory lane?
Any race I can run, I'll run. So that's most. But what to know about me? I'm a next-gen merchant. Apart from when it comes to road courses, I just weld in any car pretty much, along with Indianapolis. So it's just, I mean, I'm very new to this car. I can't lie. This is my first ever road course race with the Gen 4 car. So I don't know what my expectations are, but I know I can be fast, and had that P3 at Pocono, but kind of a disappointing finish for Michigan. So we'll see kind of what happens next.
I recall you didn't finish too poorly at Michigan. Actually, you were on my fantasy team, and I won the fantasy round last week. So if that's anything to go off of, I think we're going to be talking about the 18 a lot the rest of this season. And I guess as we look forward, I'm curious, you know, everybody's always got their favorite driver that they watched throughout the years in NASCAR. You know, of course, we are replicating the NASCAR, you know, series here within this league, at least to a point. This is the 2005 season. The 18 car was in kind of a weird spot at that point in time. Do we see you try to take your talents to a different ride in 2006 within this league next year in what will be in reality 2027? Do we see you move around? What's going to go on there?
I have no clue. You know, my favorite driver growing up was Jimmy Johnson. Now it's Tyler Reddick. I rooted for him throughout his truck series and the PKR. So, I mean, it's interesting. I kind of lucked out this season as a fan. But
yeah, you
I think Josh already has that car covered for Jimmy.
Yeah, the wins earlier this year definitely felt good for you then over in the Tyler Reddick fan club. But hey, Jacob, it's just good to get to know you. Hopefully we're talking to you a lot more this season, especially if it's playing spoiler to those 2 behind you.
Yes, sir.
Jacob Malone with the win here at Sonoma Raceway. We'll go right on down to second place this evening as Jacob is still trying to collect votes for the driver of the day. But second place, how about Vincent Arthur coming to the 24 fan?
I think a solid day for the 24 group, rolling out of here in the second position. holding off the 3-car, Tucker. That was a great fight. Obviously, it was clearing away for the leader, but you guys were still having a good battle in the second spot. Do you think maybe if there was a full course caution or something, you would have had the ability to go up there and race for the win?
I'll be honest, no. Quite honestly, I didn't practice enough to even remotely have the pace that he did. Kind of just did my 5 laps to put a quick time in for qualifying and showed up tonight. So hats off to Jacob for the pace he showed. This, he put a whooping on the field. So I don't know. For us, it was just come out here, do what we know how to do. This is often a race where a lot of the guys who were around in points that don't run the best. So it's a good opportunity to kind of jump some of those guys. And yeah, fighting Dalton there was a lot of fun. I knew that he was better than me in a couple corners, so I knew I had my list of corners that I really had to be perfect off of, and as long as I did that, I was gonna have a really good shot to hold him off, and I ended up being able to. So all in all, just a nice, clean, straightforward night for the 24 crew, and we'll go into Chicagoland next week and hopefully repeat the outcome from last season and take home a checker flag.
Most certainly, and coming out of the road courses, going back to the ovals, do you think, even though you weren't contending for the race win, you had a strong finish, do you think this is going to realistically point you into the chase and give you that push to get back into that championship hunt that you were looking for?
It should. I think I was 25 points out, if I remember correctly, coming into tonight, and I don't... Can you guys pull up the points real quick? Coming into tonight?
Yep, I got you. Give me 1 second. There's that.
At 29 points out is where you're at right now in that 12th position. The 2 guys that are in front of you, you actually finished in front of. In fact, you finished in front of everybody that was in front of you. Tubb and Kite were the ones that were the closest. Then it was Ronnie Norman, Gladulich, and Housen up the road in front of you. So it should be a solid points game for you tonight.
Yeah, I think that should put me up there. I didn't lead a lap, so I didn't get those bonus, fortunately. But regardless, I mean, that'll put us up to 11th or 10th. And like I said last week, all we got to do is just go put together solid finishes, just top 5s, top 3s, just kind of grind the rest of the summer. And I'm not terribly worried about making the chase. It's just kind of we got to do our thing, and if we do our thing, we're going to be able to get in the chase. And those last 10 races, it's time to turn it on. So it's been a up and down year to this point, but Chad and Jimmy had those up and down years, and they turned it on the last 10. So we'll go try to replicate some of that magic, and yeah, it'll be a fun little stretch of races here coming up.
If I may interject briefly, Vincent, you're going to earn 3 times, I guess, 3 times enough points, if that makes sense, or something. Anyways, you'll have enough to clear the 32 and the 21 and the 7, I think, based on what I'm looking at. I'm not sure about the 20. I mean, you should be 9th out of here. Yeah,
that's a really solid result. I mean, the past 2 weeks, they've just been putting together solid finishes, and that's a really solid result. So I can't complain with that. I'm actually really happy if that is where we end up. If we end up in 9th, that's huge, particularly going into the next stretch of races we got here.
Well, you pulled off one heck of a run here today at Sonoma. I think going into Chicago, you've got the momentum on your side to point you towards the chase, and plenty of races left to do it. Congratulations on that second place finish. Hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week at Chicagoland.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I hope so too. See you then.
And that was Vincent Arthur, second place finisher on the night. Andrew, he honestly did a phenomenal job. I'm sure he's going to be pointing himself into the chase these next few races.
Definitely a big result for him this evening. Somebody who obviously will take the points, didn't necessarily need them quite as badly as the driver ahead of him, Dalton Tucker. Of course, you come into tonight second in the standings. You're going to be a whole lot closer to Hunter Sr. now after this. Is that what's the word? A conscious effort from you? Are you actively trying to get to first place before the chase cut off? Because you're nearly there after tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean, without a doubt, if you ain't first, you're last. So I mean, what are we racing for? I hate to say it, but when I saw Hunter, he disconnected. Me and Vinny could have raced probably a lot harder. But at that point, it's like, I mean, what's the point? It's 5 points compared to us both wrecking or something for losing 80 points. So I was like, I'm content with third for once and just kind of collect my points and move on to something that doesn't have right turns.
That's interesting because I said a couple of times mid-race, if I'm Dalton here, I'll just let the Wookiee win, is what I said at one point, and to pull the Star Wars line, just let it be. Take third. If you have a chance, and it seemed like you had a couple of opportunities to get alongside and battle, sure, maybe poke your nose around, and it's like you did. Are we finally on page in sync here as we hit the summer?
Shoot, with what's coming up, I'm not sure if I'll be on page because Montreal, I've never done laps there. Daytona's a crapshoot. It's gonna be tough. The races in the chase, I feel a lot better about. I did very good last year in the chase.
Well, you won the championship.
Yeah, the chase races fit me a lot better than the ones coming up before the chase. So if I can work myself in front of Hunter, I'll feel a lot better. But I mean, it goes a long way winning the regular season and getting those extra points for it.
And there's plenty of tracks coming up where I'm sure the 3-car will be very, very good. Specifically, Chicagoland next week feels like it's going to be one that certainly is tangible for you to finish right back here or better next week. So do we see you up on the podium here in a week's time?
I mean, as I've said all season, there's some great drivers in here. I never expect anything. I just drive as hard as I can, which y'all see every week. And sometimes it causes issues. Sometimes it wins races, I guess, as Dale Earnhardt said. Sometimes you wreck, sometimes you win, and we'll see. But trying to race smarter, trying to catch Hunter, so more I can do that, the closer that point gap will come, which creates more stress for Hunter, and maybe we can get it done.
Good to talk to you as always, Dalton. Congratulations. Solid third place effort tonight. A little bit of points racing, never hurt nobody. Hopefully we're talking to you in Chicago next week.
Sounds good. See y'all.
There you go, Dalton Tucker, kind of admittedly doing some points racing. You know what? We've gotten so used to this, 110% all the time. If you ain't first, you're last. Got to win to get in, kind of thing. I enjoy some points racing. Get the result that you can get. Be happy with it. Move on. Keep momentum on your side. I think that's a solid way to approach things for Tucker here this evening. A big thank you as always to our partners with the series. You see them there on the left side of your screen. Harpoon Design, Sparks Builders, Dark Star Garage, and of course the National Oval Racing Association. I'm excited for what's next, Zach. I mean, Chicagoland's always a fun racetrack. I think and probably many NASCAR fans' fondest memory of Chicagoland as of late has to be 2018 Kyle Larson versus Kyle Busch. If you don't like that kind of race and don't even watch, that's certainly, I think, on my mind and most others' minds going into Chicagoland next week. But to wrap things up here, Zach, another big thank you to our partners here at the channel, Whiplash Simcams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. And speaking of that North American Racing League Driver of the Day vote, no surprise here. I mean, this has to be the easiest one of the season, right? Driver of the Day, Jacob Malone here at Sonoma Raceway, doing the drifts, coming to collect that checkered flag. Absolutely put a clinic on here this evening, Zach.
He went out there and just showed them all what for. He dominated the race, and there was no looking back after Housen's penalty. It was just a cakewalk for that 18 team. They did a phenomenal job to keep that car rolling out in front, and I can't wait to see what happens on another road course.
I'm excited to see how Montreal goes, but we got Chicagoland coming up first, and clearly this 18 is well-oiled for at least these road courses. He is a threat for the remaining couple of road courses, and even some of the ovals, I think. I mean, he was great at Pocono, solid again last week. He was in the mix at least at Michigan, so clearly we got to watch for him. And I want to give another honorable mention to Noah Blackwell, the Noah B Media 99. He was fantastic this evening. Kind of quiet there in the back half, but couple of times. Looked like he was going to threaten for the top 4 or even better. So props to Blackwell. He was just joking about whether or not he would make it to the end of the race. I see him in YouTube chat. Hopefully he's still watching. Noah, good to see you get a solid result here this evening. And while we're at it, some other mentions. Again, Ryan Housden, the damaged car, came back to 9th. Tubb just trying to stay in chase contention. He should pick back up into the top 10 as he finishes 10th this evening. Jordan White came home 13th, and then Caden Henry Oaks, his first start is, oh, look at that. There was absolutely contact between Christenberry and White there in turn 11 coming to checkers. Let's see if we can get a look back at that here real quick. Let me get full speed and back this up right here. Let's check this out. Coming to checkered flag. There they go through the S's. Christenberry right on his back bumper. Backs off a little bit through turn 10. Jourdain checks up there. Not to go off track. And Jourdain gave him the inside. Jake just got in deep. You see the brake rotors glowing. Boom, locked up. Got his right rear. And that would be why the 11 checked up coming to the stripe, Zach. And boy, that makes it all make sense.
I mean, sportsmanship, though. That's a class act from Christenberry. He knows that he screwed up. He knows that he wants to make amends, and I mean, I like that. I like seeing that sportsmanship out of people.
Absolutely. I'd much rather see a guy spin somebody, admit it, and check up, maybe in a little bit in the way for that reason, than just take it and kind of move on and not apologize. That is very good to see out of Christenberry there. But next up, Zach, we talked about earlier. Couple of dirt races to cap off the week, Wednesday and Friday. Wingless cars at Williams Grove, winged cars at Cedar Lake. I'm excited. These are going to be a couple of great races, and then we'll actually be missing the dirt racing throughout the summer. Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series is going to take a couple of months off and come back in September after taking a break for July and August. But you know what else we have coming back, Zach? Next week, we actually have the Sarah National Tour coming back. We're going right to South Boston, late model stock cars at Sobo. I'm excited. That'll be Wednesday, June 24th. I am over the moon for that. We have supers closely following. We're going to have, let me see, the 6 races we're doing this summer and fall, for that matter. We're doing the Virginia Triple Crown, of course. We have to. Late model stock cars, Virginia Triple Crown, it has to happen. South Boston, Langley, Martinsville. We're also doing a super late model Triple Crown. We'll talk more about it next Wednesday, of course, but Slinger, Oxford, and Five Flags. 3 very different racetracks. I'm excited for all of these races coming up on Thursday evenings usually. It will be a Wednesday to get started, and then actually next week, next Thursday, we have the beginning of a new series for the North American Racing League Season 4 of their Porsche Cup Series. So a lot on the way at Pit Stop TV, and that's not even getting to what we have coming later on this fall, particularly in September. So Zach, any final thoughts here from Sonoma?
Give me more. I love every second of these races and just how they play out, and I am super excited for what we've got coming up. There's so many great things that are going to be happening here on Pit Stop TV, and I am really, really looking forward to it. And if you want to look forward to it, if you want to follow along with everything that's going on here on Pit Stop TV, and heck, maybe even get involved in it somehow, there are plenty of places to go, and you can see them right there at the bottom of your screen, including a new Discord link. So you can pop yourself into the Pit Stop TV Discord server. You can see a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on, and hey, you can maybe participate in many different ways, whether it be as a fan, or even as a driver, or potential Fantasy Live applicant, I'll say. There's so many different things going on here on Pit Stop TV that are welcoming for all the fans and for the community.
There's a lot going on at Pit Stop TV these days, and a whole lot more coming up later this summer and fall. Stay tuned. Do not miss any of it. Be here, be a part of the action here at Pit Stop TV and all of these leagues that we broadcast. Still so much to come for the summer of 2026. Thanks so much for watching. If you missed it, go back and catch that pre-race show. We've got some big things on the way here with NORA. It has been a lot of fun this evening at Sonoma. We'll see you all next time. One more shot, though. A big thank you to our partners with the series, Harpoon Design, Sparks Builders, Darkstar Garage, and here at the channel, Whiplash SimCams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. We will see you all next time here at Pit Stop TV, hopefully Wednesday evening, as we take on Williams Grove Speedway, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, with non-winged 410 sprint cars. It's going to be a blast rather. Do not miss it. We'll see you then.
Bye.